Saints headed to the nation's capital this weekend for a noon o'clock kickoff Central Time against the football team. Just ridiculous. And I think if I would have told you, at this point in the season that Washington would be 2-2, I don't think that would have shocked anyone. It's about where you probably would have had them. They won a shootout with the Giants, lost to the Bills, and I think where they sit is not totally shocking. Lost to the Chargers, which you would have, beat a bad Falcons team in a shootout. But how they've gotten there is not how I would have expected. You've gone to Heineke at quarterback, who's been pretty good, completing 70% of his throws. Has, like I said, gotten into some shootouts and put up a lot of points. But the biggest thing is that their defense has just been terrible.
Yeah, their defense, their pass defense this year has just been totally atrocious.
Giving up 300 yards a game through the air.
Yeah, you would think that their pass rush is number one overall pick, Chase Young, coming off the edge. You would think Montez Sweat. I know that we got some Mississippi State in the bite for a chat. They got some Mississippi State love. So Montez Sweat coming off the edge. Obviously, all those Bama boys in the middle, Allen Payne. You would think they'd be able to get after the passer.
That's a Mack truck full of human beings on the front right there.
Yeah, that's some girth, that's some strength, that's some speed, athleticism. You couldn't draw up a better defensive line. You got 5 first-round picks just about on that defensive front. So you would think they'd be able to get after other teams faster. That's why they won the division last year. They were able to get to the passer when they needed to the most. They haven't been able to do that this year. I don't know what it is. I don't know why they're not getting the production that way. But the Saints' offensive line, I know Armstead is out, but their offensive line blocks extremely well on the edges. So I think the Saints they should be able to get the pass game going this week. I think this is probably the week you take the handcuffs off Jameis and let him throw it around the yard a little bit.
That's my next question. I mean, obviously they're not like babying him. He's been in the league a long time, but they were. They have thrown the fewest attempts in the league through 3 games. So they haven't made an effort to get back there and Drew Brees it and throw it 47 times in a game. That's not where they've been. They've wanted to run the football. Now, Washington's defense has allowed 4 yards a carry and almost 120 yards a game. So it's not like they're slamming the door on that either. But teams have slung it around on this Washington team and thrown for a bunch of yards. And so my question to Sean Payton would be, not if you're going to take the handcuffs off, but it would be, okay, are we comfortable trying to win that way, or are we going to stick to what we do?
Yeah. I think it's a tough thing for Sean, I think, at this point in the season. Obviously, they could easily be 3-1 right now, losing a tough home game to the Giants, but I think he doesn't push it. I think if I'm Sean, I wait to this point in the season. You were in every game without him throwing the ball 40, 50 times. So I think you continue to ride Kamara. I think that's what you do. You put Taysom Hill in the red zone situations, 3rd and short, 4th and short situation, start some QB run stuff, and continue what you're doing. I don't think Sean's going to do it at this point in the season. I think it's way too early on, and I think the best time to honestly probably do it is when you get that guy who broke the receiving record, Michael Thomas. That's probably a good guy to throw the ball to. So I think he's going to probably wait till he comes back, and then they'll probably start cranking up those pass attempts.
I mean, look, Atlanta scored 30 on this team. Buffalo scored 43 on this team. The Giants scored 29 on this team. Now, Los Angeles didn't do as much. It was the Chargers. It was only a 20-16 game, but it's been a defense that's been very susceptible. The Saints, as we laid out yesterday, have got to win this game. And I wonder how Sean Payton goes about doing it. Now, what have you made of Heineke's play so far?
Great. I feel like the kid plays like he has nothing to lose out there, which is it's a good thing when you're not turning it over. He just goes out there and has the time of his life. He's running around, extending plays. The play he had to McKissick last week was just right out of the Bo Nix Manziel playbook. He just running around in the backyard, just toss it to him. He was able to make a play and get them to lead with 30 seconds left on the scoreboard against the Falcons. So, yeah, I think Heineke has definitely been playing well this year. You definitely don't think you get that type of production from a backup quarterback, but he's been doing the job.
When you look at what he did against Atlanta last week, 23 out of 33 for 290, 3 touchdowns and no picks, I would think this is a conversation that we've had, so I know that you'll echo what I'm saying, but a guy who was out of the league, sleeping on his sister's couch, and then finally gets a shot and makes a camp and makes a team and then gets a chance. You're not going to go nuts over the fact that against Buffalo you completed 14 out of 24 and threw 2 picks. But you throw the ball for Atlanta, for the stats that I just laid out, 293 touchdowns, no picks. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I can do this. Like that gives the coaching staff more confidence to go ahead and do it. and certainly gives the player more confidence and probably the huddle more confidence that he's a guy that can actually get this done.
Yeah, as a football player, you do something once on that field, you feel like you can do it time and time and time again, and that confidence festers. Your teammates start to believe in you, the front office, the coaches, everyone starts to believe in you. And I think what gets a lot of players is when that expectation goes high. I think when you're in a situation like Heineke, the expectations aren't out of this world for him. If he goes out there and throws a couple interceptions, you probably don't, look too hard on that. But when you start putting performances like this and stacking them up together, people start expecting that type of play from you, and it gives you a world of confidence, and you start expecting yourself to play like that. And so I think that's where Heineke is headed towards if he can continue to play like the way he did last Sunday.
Now, Jameis had a high in pass attempts on Sunday at 23. That beat 22 against Carolina, 21 against New England, and 20 against Green Bay. So he's been between 20 and 23 in every game. I look at what teams have done against this Washington secondary, and I say that number probably needs to be 30. But the issue is not, I've started to lean this way as I've watched more of the Saints. It's not necessarily that he doesn't believe Jameis can do it. Who's he going to throw it to? That's the problem. It's not that Jameis is going to turn it over if you throw it 30 times. He might. The issue is Marquez Callaway, the one big play, but hasn't really made a play. Deontay Harris is limited in what you can do with him. He's got some skills that you can use, but he's limited. What you going to get with Stills? It's just not a wide receiver core that puts any fear in anybody. They're not getting enough separation, and if they don't, he is going to put it in harm's way. So they are going to keep it on the ground. I think it's just it's a chain that connects.
Yeah, I think what I said earlier, just wait till Michael Thomas gets back. It's going to make everything so much easier. Now you can double team some of these receivers who aren't really true number ones receivers, and now it just makes your job so much harder as a quarterback. I think when you get Michael Thomas back, God forbid you leave that kid one-on-one on the outside, Jameis has got to find him time and time again. So I think you can get some of these teams more of their resources put towards Michael Thomas, and then now you could get Kamara out the backfield one-on-one. Now maybe Callaway can run a deep route and go over the top. So I think Sean Payton continues with the play calling that he did to start this season. Run, little play action, keep the ball out of harm's way, and play a ton of defense.
We put Jameis right about halfway when we did that exercise of where the Saints are in terms of the quarterback position and their situation relative to the rest of the league. Through 4 games, which is almost a quarter of the season now, you're looking at 64% completion, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. Throwing for about, as I do my math there, 100 and it's south of 200 a game. So
yeah.
It's
168.
What do you make of it?
What I expected. I said that to start the season. It's going to be heavy play action, run the crap out of the ball. As many run plays you can get in there, try to do it. You got Alvin Kamara, you got this offensive line. Just pay Ramczyk a lot of money, so they're going to be running the crap out of the football. And I think for the Saints, I think that's A-okay, especially with this injury-decimated roster.
Yeah.
A ton of guys out right now, so I think you try to go the safe approach, and then you can really start stretching it out and testing yourself when you play some of the teams like you're going to have to play in the Tampa Bay Bucks. You would think that they're going to put up a lot of points, but with the defense playing well, you don't have to. So I think with the defense playing the way they are, teams aren't just running them out the gym. That they're probably one of the top passing defenses in the league. So you play tough defense, you run the ball. I think Sean Payton is not going to get away from that anytime soon.
If you listen to this show 2 hours a day every day, we appreciate that very much. However, this will be a recycle from yesterday where I laid this out, but I think it's worth repeating for any new audience that may be there. The Saints' schedule is a nightmare. They need to win this game entering the bye. It's on the road. It's against a team that's decent, but not great. They need to win the game because the rest of this thing is an absolute bear. You got to go at Seattle in a primetime game. Then you come home and play the Bucks. We know about that. Then you're playing the Falcons at home, who's not great. But then you're at Titans, at Eagles, versus Bills, versus Cowboys, which is just a nightmare, at the Jets, who aren't very good. But then you're at Tampa, play a decent Dolphins team, home for the Panthers, who just got Stephon Gilmore in a trade, and then you're at the Falcons to finish things off. There's just not a lot of let up in that schedule. They really need to go out and take care of this game because it can slip away from you in a hurry. Now, I don't think anybody here had the Saints beating the Packers 38-3, losing to the Panthers and the Giants, and then going on the road and beating New England. So, again, the operation, the going through this is maybe not the most worthwhile effort, but the point remains they play a lot of really good football teams.
Yeah. I think when you get into the meat of this season, you're going to have to get back healthy. I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Sean Payton and the crew, getting a lot of these guys back that they we're going to count on heading into this season. That Carolina game, it's injury decimated roster. You don't have any defensive backs, defensive linemen going out, linemen getting out. You lose your center. You got to move a guard to center. It's just a lot of things that hurt this team. It seems like the injury bug is biting the Tigers and the Saints this year. So when the Saints get a lot more healthy, I feel a lot more confident in them playing in some of these tougher games they're going to play in. They're going to be competitive in each one of them. It's just going to be a matter of can they, take care of the football and can they get that run game going.